things first, if you haven't checked out our Black Carvve 3 unboxing video, go check it out. Link in the description. I would like to first talk about the fit and finish of this board. Starting from something big like the carbon fiber enclosure, all the way to the wires leading from the electronics to the motors. Everything is just precisely put together, and just the overall polish on the board is fantastic. Not only are they raising the bar using the Samsung 50S cells, which I'm not aware of any other e-skate company using, but they are protecting that battery with the IP65 enclosure sealed with an O-ring. Also love about the finish of this board is that it's under 30 pounds. A lot of 2-in-1 boards with these type of specs are over 30 pounds, and it's just a pain in the butt to carry around. What I also like about its blacked out look, when you have a blacked out board like this, you could rock any different color helmet or any different jacket and it'll look great. So let's talk about the remote. Now, I already went over the remote pretty thoroughly on the unboxing review, but I just want to touch base on a couple things. Now, the aesthetics of this remote is fantastic. It fits in your hand quite nice. When you plug it into the charger, it powers up like a high-end video game system, and I love that. And then it shows you the actual power number in increments of 10. And then it gives you a friendly reminder to not leave your board behind. It reminds me of the newer cars with the proximity keys that give you a friendly reminder to not leave your keys behind when you're done driving the car for the day. Now, the board charge is on the top left and the remote charge is on the top right. Those are in increments of 5. So the board was at 45, now it's at 40. And I ride a little bit more, and now it's going to drop down to 35. Now you'll see on the bottom left, my trip is 4.7, and then now it's going to be 5.0. The board went from 35% to 45%. It's like the VESC ESCs. This Orion ESC shows real-time voltage as well. Okay, so let's check out the auto reverse setting. Hold down this button for 5 seconds. Okay, so now you're in the menu. You can scroll up and down here. So auto rev is auto reverse. So now that's highlighted. Let's click the power button to get in there. It's already off, so let's scroll up and hit the power button. Now it's on. Okay, so if I want to get out of there, just click this button again. Okay, click it again to get out of there. Okay, so now I'm back into regular ride mode. So I'm gonna hit the throttle, I'm gonna hit the brake, hold down the brake, and then the reverse comes back. Okay, so let's talk about the deck. The deck is one of my favorite things about this board. Something about this concave and this grip tape together just really plants in my feet absolutely perfect. Whether I'm just cruising or I'm carving aggressively. And also if you like the longboard dance or sliding, it really plants in your feet perfectly. Because when you have too much concave, it's just very uncomfortable. But if you don't have enough concave, you don't have enough support to slide, carve. And the concave also allows you to have some kind of directional point of where your feet need to be instead of just looking down. When it's flat, you can actually misplace your feet on the deck or even your foot come off while riding. What I also love about is its padded grip tape. Now, this padded grip tape isn't quite grainy like dope grip tape is. It's more on the smoother side. So in my opinion, it's a little more comfortable and it definitely keeps you locked in. Let's talk about its brand new traditional Kingpin trucks that are super wide. Now they're using high cupped washers, which I've been saying for a while. That's great for stability. Now companies are starting to utilize them stock, which is great. So they're definitely wider than the first Black Carvve 2 double Kingpin trucks, but these are single Kingpin trucks. However, they still carve just as good as double Kingpin. But if you want to, you can also go with flat washers aftermarket from Riptide, or you can flip them around like they suggested, or you can simply go for a softer bushing. I actually really like the setup completely stock. Will I play around with some Riptide bushings? Maybe, but it's definitely not needed. The only tricky thing is with traditional Kingpin trucks, usually they take away a little bit of your turning radius, especially if the trucks are pretty wide. But the increased stability is a great trade-off in my opinion. You'll see my trucks aren't too tight and they're not too loose, and I'm going to show you the front and the rear, and now I'm going to show you the turning radius. It is a little hard for me to do with my ankle injury, but I'm going to give it a shot. Now, speaking of traditional Kingpin trucks, here's something worth mentioning. Here's the Evolve Double Kingpin, the ONSRA Traditional Kingpin, and the B1 Traditional Kingpin. Now, I normally like to use standard shredlight mounts underneath the front deck, but with traditional Kingpin trucks, since there's not two Kingpins, it sits a lot lower. It gives you a lot less clearance. So when I want to put them on the bottom of the truck, And in between the deck, there's plenty of space when you're using double kingpin trucks. So it's nice and clean and it has plenty of clearance. What's also good about double kingpin is not only does it have more clearance, but the top kingpin is positioned way more forward. So the shred light is pushed more back towards the battery, so it has more clearance. Traditional kingpin trucks on the ONSRA actually does face a lot more forward, so you have some clearance. Enough? I don't think so. I wouldn't want to risk that. Now, if you look over to the B1 and you just place a shred light on the deck, you can see there's not a lot of room at all, let alone if you put in an actual shred light mount. Now, I spoke with somebody on Instagram that actually does have their shred light positioned underneath the deck in between the trucks like that. Now, if you want to do that, go ahead, but I carved way too hard to have that minimum amount of clearance. I don't trust that. One option you could do is buy the shred light flat sticky mounts. They're only $8 and you have plenty of clearance for that. You also have the shred light bar mounts, the square ones. They're only $8 and I utilize them on the ONSRA Black Carve too. They also look really, really good. As some of you may know, the Hoda tires are my favorite all-terrain tires. I made a video about why I think that. Check them out in action.
Okay, I'm in brutal mode right now. We're about to climb up a big hill. 1, 2, 3, go. Easily climbs up the hills. 1, 2, 3, go. All right, here we go. Acceleration test. 1, 2, 3, go. One, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. Now brake test. 1, 2, 3. Woo! 1, 2, 3. Woo! Braking's insane. All right, brake test. 1, 2, 3, brake. So 1, 2, 3, brake. Woo! Those are strong brakes. Probably the best brakes I've ever had.
Top speed. Now, some of you may know I'm not a top speed rider, but I was only able to get 25 miles per hour with the board. The remote says 27, but my GPS said 25, and I think that's a little bit underwhelming. I think 28, 29 is plenty, but again, 25 just a little upsetting. Between the 150 kV motors and the Orion ESC, the board is putting out plenty of power. So I think if they went for a smaller wheel pulley, I think it will have a very good balance of better top speed and still keep the power. Now I have a 55T and a 47T. I tried the 55T, it went up to 27 miles per hour according to my GPS. Then after that, I tried setting up the 47T and I didn't have the proper belt. Now I have a lot of different belts, and for some reason, I couldn't find one that fits. If someone can find me a larger belt than 300, but smaller than 325, please let me know in the comments. As for range, remember when the Meepo Hurricane first came out and all the range tests were finally rolling in and everybody was disappointed? This is kind of the same situation. Now, I only got 20 miles out of it, and it was 36 degrees Fahrenheit, which is super cold. But just like the Meepo Hurricane, the more output it has, the less range you're going to have. So just like I do with the Meepo Hurricane, I don't stay in the highest mode when I want to conserve battery. All right, 5% left on the board. 2, 3, 2.
Look at that, 0% and still riding. 15 miles per hour at 0%. 16. 17. 18.
Final thoughts. So the battery and the top speed is not exactly what we wanted, right? Okay, but keep in mind, the battery cells are definitely higher class, because if they weren't, they wouldn't be doing almost 20 miles per hour when the board is at 0%. The LaCroix barrel could even do 8 miles per hour with 8% battery left. Also, keep in mind, it was absolutely freezing. 34 to 36 degrees Fahrenheit is very, very cold, especially when you're riding. So as you all know, cold weather is not good for battery cells at all. Also was in brutal mode the entire time, which is the highest mode. With the board that has this much power, I just don't think you need to be in the highest mode the entire time. So again, if you want to conserve battery with all-terrain, definitely don't stay in the highest mode. I do the same thing with my Meepo Hurricane and my other high-powered boards. Now, when it comes to the top speed, like I mentioned, I think if they just gear it differently and they go for a good medium motors like 170 kV, I think that will solve the problem easily. Everything else, in my opinion, is top notch. The power, the polish, the customer service, the remote, the tires, the trucks, everything is just great. Thank you for watching, guys. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Have a good one, guys.